Alright, we are recording. Alright, welcome guys to another LordBane ANDITESH video, I guess. This is our new series that will be starting up for probably about a monthly thing, maybe a bit further separated apart, but we're going to be doing like a Let's Talk kind of video here where we talk about a few things in the game, but so we got my buddy here, ANDITESH Auto. If you haven't seen his channel, I'll put a link in the description or even a card in the top corner there. How is ANDITESH today?
Hey, ANDITESH is great. How's it going? I appreciate you having me on.
No worries. I've been wanting to do a collaboration, something like this, for a long time, and it's good finally that we organised a time and place to get it started. But I think,
right?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, we'll talk about probably a few subjects that we've already kind of discussed in the background, but our three topics today will be 3 reworkable characters that we would like to see, 3 characters we all want to come in this game, and also 3 characters that are kind of underrated at the moment. But the way we will kind of work it is I will talk about maybe a subject for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so on my channel, but the second half of it will be over on ANDITESH's channel, and I'll try, when he releases that, I'll relink it in the description as well, so you guys can find both halves of the video, so everyone gets a bit of content on each side of their channel, so we can help each other out. But otherwise, I think we were doing 3 reworkable characters on my video. Is that right, ANDITESH?
Yeah. Yes, we'll do 3. One of them we do know each or the same, but yeah, we'll do 3 on yours, and then I'll do the underrated. We'll do the underrated on my channel, plus the 3 characters we want.
Yeah. Sounds like a...
I will say it's more of like the 300 characters we want, but we're only going to do 3 of them.
Yeah, because otherwise we'd be here all day. But
probably all week, depending on the character. Yeah,
or my Thursday's already started. You're probably still in Wednesday morning. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we both have. I haven't heard all of ANDITESH's suggestions or characters he would like to see reworked, but I know we have one of the same. So the first one we're going to be talking about this morning, or I guess it's the morning for both of us, will be Darth Maul. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen here. You can see my screen fine, ANDITESH, just so no, everyone else can. So just, I'm not misleading you guys. This is one of my alternate accounts. It's not my main account. It just was less choppy. All right.
I was gonna say that's a sad Darth Maul.
Yeah. I don't have Sith Eternal on this account. I've only got Lord Vader. So. All right. Well, why do we want to see Darth Maul reworked? I don't know. ANDITESH, what do you think about Darth Maul at the moment?
Well, he's definitely a iconic fan favorite. We actually already have another Maul end game, which is the Mandalorian version of Maul. Even though I kind of don't consider it that, but that's a topic for another time. But yeah, Darth Maul, iconic. He, at the year of Episode 1, it's 25th anniversary. Right? Yeah, of Episode 1. He was the introduction to the double-bladed lightsaber, if you want to spin him a little bit there.
Yeah. Give him a little... yeah.
There you go. There you go.
See that?
Fighting part of it, yeah. And he's just a big fan favorite. He's one of my fan favorite Sith. Like, out of the top 3 Sith, he's third. Darth Bane and Darth Revan are my other top 2 favorite Sith.
Oh, thank you. So, I'm
glad
Bane is on that top list there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Keep in mind this is Legends Bane, not canon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because once the announcement of Bane came out, I actually started listening to the Bane books, even though I have them too.
Yeah. They're good books. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the bad Darth Maul.
Book called Lockdown.
Yeah.
There's a book called Lockdown that has Darth Maul in it. It's a pretty solid one where his master sends him to a prison. He can't use the Force at all.
Yes, I actually think I have read that just briefly though. I think I might have it in my collection. Yeah. It's in the shed though. I was going to get it, but anyway, all good.
No, you're good. Yeah. But yeah, Darth Maul, just he's fan favorite, double-bladed lightsaber introduction. And so, I don't know. I feel like he's had some meta time in the game itself, but he's kind of fallen on the wayside. Aside from these niche times where Sith Empire or Sith Triumvirate will join under him to get that speed boost to maybe trip someone up here and there.
Yeah.
He needs some more love right now. I feel like he could have a Darth Vader level rework back before Vader was nerfed from the 2021 nerf. But like when Vader got the Merciless Massacre, that buff. Yeah,
100%. I'm on the same page with you. Like you were saying before, he does have that niche lead where sometimes with Sith Empire, he can do some funny things to stop. I think Imperial Troopers, this works against, but it leaves the door open to many other counters, unfortunately, so...
Yeah, that's the downside of it. Like, that's why I feel like his lead needs to be touched up a little. Like, I'm okay if CG adds an Omicron to him, make him a game mode, as long as it's TW or GAC, make it one of those two, probably GAC more, but like...
Yeah, a game mode that actually matters.
One of those two game modes. I'd be more than happy. Unless they want to add it to TB and make him a soloing character for TB, I'm okay with that.
They have to really sell it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind seeing, in my opinion, I wouldn't mind seeing Darth Maul reworked. And I've talked about this on a few of my videos, the 2024 New Year's video. Where I feel like they should add his Sith probe droids to come in and make him like a summon taunt or whatever, get some sort of synergy there. He's a lot of the times he's on his own fighting, so why should he, be other Sith? But he can still, lead other Sith as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, there's a lot they can do with this guy. I wouldn't mind, as long as they touch him up in general so that he's a lot more useful all around, and then spike him up in one game mode, that's fine.
He needs an Omicron or a rework, just like Savage did. Like, Savage went to literal garbage to a meta-defining, a character that you must have in GAC to make your multiple Sith teams so relevant. And it's just a shame, I think, that Maul is such a iconic character over Savage that he's just not used very much. And like you said, I didn't even think about that. He was the first double lightsaber appearance in live TV. So don't you guys think Darth Maul deserves a touch up? I remember way back in the early days of the meta, he was insane with his he gets that 100% turn meter, I think, when he kills an enemy. I remember Maul used to pop off back in the day with it. All he needs is another unique ability or an Omicron of some sort to just give him that edge, because at the moment he's just one of those characters you feed to Bane as a sacrifice,
Bane or whatever. Sometimes under Sith Eternal, he's just there to get that AoE daze to maybe slow down the enemy team. But that's the other thing, is he's such a slow character too.
It's hard to make him do anything too out of the ordinary. But what do you guys think? Drop it in the comments what you guys think of Darth Maul. Does he really need a touch up, and what would it be? Do you guys have any kit design ideas of what would it be like? Like, surely it'd happen this year because Phantom Menace 25 years. It makes sense if Darth Maul got a rework. So type in the comments, guys, what you guys think about that. ANDITESH, did you want to start off first on your list, and we'll alternate between each one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I picked out some reworks that are just more focused on lead or the whole kit.
Yeah.
And this is just because me and you've been having fun with these two characters.
Yep.
Gar Saxon's lead, adding the Mandalorian tag to the leadership. That's one thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Gar Saxon's lead. Because it says Mandalorian Retaliation. Why is it just Empire? It's like, what? If they're not going to add Mandalorian Retaliation or the Mandalorian tag in there, make it Imperial Retaliation or something. Yeah.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Unless they decide that they're going to add the Imperial Super Commando sub faction, where you have Gar, ISC, what is it? Tiber Saxon, Gar's brother. I think it's Lieutenant or Captain Hark or something for Tiber's commander or lieutenant.
Yeah.
Captain, lieutenant, whatever. And then the dark side variant of Sabine's brother, just to kind of have a team of 5 there.
Yeah.
They could eventually add that, and that's the team you eventually get. And you'd have the lead option of either Gar or his brother.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't even think of that, to be honest, but that's a great point. Gar's lead is so minuscule. I've been able to get it to work sometimes, but yeah, it's so niche that it's one of those old kits where it's just a couple sentences, and that's all you needed back in the day. But it makes sense. That's a good point. Mandalorian Retaliation, but it's got nothing to do with Mandalorians. I think maybe Mandalorian tag was brought out after the fact that Gar was released.
Oh yeah, it was.
But that's a good point. I think that this will actually link in with one of the characters I want to talk about. Quite well.
Yeah, the thing is like with how they keep breaking characters, especially with Omicrons, Datacrons, and stuff. I don't see this problem if you get like Canderous and Jango Fett under him, maybe even throw Maul under him instead of Maul being in the lead, or unless they add another dark side Mandalorian, or maybe just throw an Imperial in there. But all those assists, like Canderous will triple tap on a counter.
Yeah.
Potentially triple tap. Jango Fett, any debuffed enemy, double tap there. Gar Saxon's gonna, with ISC's rework, is gonna just go to town on some of these characters, and I feel like it'd be fun to see that, especially since they buffed ISC over the years. I've always wanted to see that go, in the past. And then if they, if Disney ever says, okay, Boba Fett is Mandalorian, we can get the 2 Boba Fetts to join in on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Just throwing that out there, because they each have either double tap or, I think the Sign of Django has some sort of weird double tap, but yeah, that would really synergize to where, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Plus, if they did that with Boba Fett, that's 3 of the Mandalorians on the team that you can actually has extra lives.
Yeah, 100%. I think Bulba Son of Jenga has he can hit 3 times, I think, on his basic, or 2 times. I think that's how he multiple taps on his basic.
TW might give him the 3rd.
It does. I believe so. Yep. Maybe when he gets his contract, I can't quite remember, but I would definitely like to see. So this is kind of going into some of the things we'll talk about in your video, but the characters I want to see to come to the game. This kind of leaks into what I want to see, because the Mandalorian faction, as I've done a video on it before, of what the problems are with the Mandalorian faction at the moment inside the game is we just can't make all the teams we want. We've got to make the most out of what we have. And unfortunately, just for me personally, I don't use the Mandalorian team. I just find it's too demanding of how many teams I need to throw into it to make it a usable team. But we'll talk about more of that inside of your video.
I will say though, with my situation is, if I use the Thrawn lead, Maul has to use all my other Mandos because I don't have Bo-Katan, I don't have Lord Vader, nor do I have Trench. So my Maul sometimes gets left on the wayside unless I start throwing him with Ufus until he's too fast for that team.
Yeah, definitely. It all depends on what situation you're in, 100%. And if you're in a situation like yourself, obviously using MAUL with those even just leftover Mandalorians is a team right there. I just don't know what leftover Mandalorians, what is their potential. I honestly don't know. So it's obviously it's not as good, I think, as a full dark side team because you're not getting that IC true damage. So we'll maybe this Gar lead having it a touch up would fill out a Mandalorian team perhaps, but it's really hard.
Even with just Gar ISC Canderous in 3v3 or in 5v5 running Shore and say TIE Pilot or something, you can get a team going that way until we get more teams.
Yeah.
And, more members for these teams. Because even like I'm going to do a video similar to yours because I mentioned it, then you brought one out, which is funny. Mentioned to you in a DM, and I've been actually thinking about, talking a little bit about something similar with the Imperial Troopers and Mandalorians and what some of the things they could do to implement, even making type an Imperial Trooper or something, or maybe Probe Droid Imperial Trooper, because Probe Droid, even though he's not really an Imperial Trooper, you got Dark Trooper that's a droid. It's like... Yeah,
true. That is a good point. Yeah. There's a lot of characters out there that don't have appropriate tags that you would think they'd have. Like, I think a couple of even just the Imperials, they don't have the Imperial Trooper tag, which you'd think, like you said before, TIE Pilot makes so much sense for an Imperial Trooper. Like, it's... How much more Imperial Trooper can you get with a TIE Pilot? So... I don't understand what they've done there, but a lot of
yeah, and then it goes the opposite way too. Like Jango Fett, a Separatist, he was only working for Dooku. And if that's the case, if you're going to play that game, CG, why is Savage not a? He worked for Dooku. He was an apprentice to Dooku for a little bit. He did a couple of Separatist-ish missions, took out a couple of Jedi, destroyed some droids with him, but still. Yeah. Why is he not a Separatist? Cad Bane, Embo, they were hired to go capture Chancellor Palpatine under Dooku. Why are they not Separatist? And then you can also make the argument for some of the bounty hunters of episode Empire Strikes Back. Why are they not Empire? It's like CG like this, they're trying to balance characters out, but I feel like they're not doing a well enough job, but also doing too well or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like...
It's all
it's tricky.
At the end of the day, it's all about game balance, but we also want to see teams with proper lore and tag accuracy. Like, one for me is I don't love how they've got MAUL basically attached to Lord Vader. They wanted to kill each other at that time. Like, it doesn't really make any sense, but it's just the way the game is.
Wanted to kill Anakin at the time. Yeah. But still, I get it. Like, it's weird and baffling that they want to do that. Where Commander Ahsoka Tano kind of makes sense. It does make sense with Kenobi, but also she technically, as well as R2-D2, would make sense with the 501st. So
100%.
Tricky situations. So
but you can't make everyone happy at the end of the day. You just got to. Be happy with what we get, and that's just it sometimes. But ANDITESH, that was a good point on Gar there, Gar lead. That was definitely out of left field. I didn't think about that at all. We'll move on to one of the characters I was talking about, and that is going to be, I don't know if maybe you picked this one as well. It's going to be Director Krennic.
Nope.
Oh, okay, cool.
I didn't, but I do agree with it. Though.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I do agree with it.
Yeah, so...
I didn't go with your thing, and I'll throw my thoughts in.
Yeah, cool. So, we're talking about it just recently, within the last 30 seconds, tags. I think this guy should be Imperial Trooper, for one. I think that would that would fix him, in a sense. Can you just imagine for a moment, one of the biggest problems with Krennic is he's too slow. He doesn't get enough turns to actually do anything solid against most teams. Like, he's got this tenacity down on basic, which one could probably do really well against teams that are highly tenacious, which is a growing thing nowadays. But most of his abilities, I find, have this olden day kit design where it's only a % chance to inflict something, when nowadays it's all you will inflict it, and it's a potency tenacity check. It's not a roll the dice. There's already too much RNG in the game. We don't need any more of it in kit design. Another thing about KRENNIC that's just so annoying is basically he's built around having Death Trooper, and even the Omicron they gave him to supposedly help him is all just tied around Death Trooper. But the biggest problem is Death Trooper's home is with Imperial Remnants. And KRENNIC is just...
or Iden if you don't have the Imperial Remnants set.
Yeah,
depending on your roster.
Like, I would rather use KRENNIC... I'd rather use Iden with Death Trooper than, Death Trooper with KRENNIC.
Yeah. Unless they buffed KRENNIC up to be like, oh, now you have another option. Death Trooper becomes the Imperial plug-and-play.
Yeah, 100%. It's similar to where Darth Bane needs 2 characters to make his team. It's close to what KRENNIC is. He needs a Death Trooper to get half of his kit to work. And having that kind of thought process in a character kit is just not good anymore, because you don't want to be able to use characters in multiple teams, and when you have less flexibility in a character, it makes it really hard for them to work really well. And I just think he needs a lot of work to get him to where a usable standard is in this game, especially.
He is slow. He needs some turn meter. Honestly, another thing I've heard many people talk about, even Arnold and a few others, like they say one faction tag he can get is, which would pair with Admiral Thrawn, Tarkin would be the Imperial officer tag or whatever. So they can add some of, so they can plug and play those characters there.
Yeah.
So it's tricky to figure all that out all at once, It's like, get all those specific officer characters in there kind of working together. Maybe they bring in Colonel Yularen of the ISB, and he actually leads some of these officers.
Yeah.
And so you actually have a plug and play, and then Death Trooper has a home there too. Unless they decide to make a different Death Trooper or something, because another problem with Death Trooper is he's been seen with multiple different characters throughout the shows and movies, like not just director KRENNIC at first, but then Thrawn had him, and I think Tarkin had him. I think there was a time Vader had him in a comic or something. I don't know. Death Troopers have been used a lot, so unless they decide to make some unique different types of Death Troopers, like even Gideon obviously used some Death Troopers, but still there's a lot of homes for this one character, and they just need to figure that out. Or just add some more, because I think there's at least one other variation that has different types of shoulder pauldron or something. But
I'm sure they'll be able to. There's a different combination, yeah.
Yeah, and so but it's hard to do that, because some people will get confused, kind of like how Jawas kind of still are, but used to be, where you select a Jawa and you're like, oh, wrong Jawa.
Yeah, I know. I just spam it. It's like which one has the lead is what I care about. Otherwise, I don't really care. But no, that's a good point. What I would suggest possibly is you can add more Death Troopers into the game. That's fine. What I would do is have a summoned Death Trooper. So that would fix straight away having Death Trooper split across multiple teams. You wouldn't really have to add a new character. All CG would have to do is literally copy-paste Death Trooper, his entire kit, and just put it in KRENNIC's, leadership, and have him as a summoned unit, similar to what Dr. Aphra has with the Commando droid. That's what I would.
Okay, if they're going to do that, then good idea. If we're going to do that, Grand Admiral Thrawn gets the droid he's training with. That droid thing that, whatever he's fighting against when I forget. I think it was
in Rebels.
Yarlarn was showing up, and yeah, it was in the Rebels show where he's fighting and training against those droids. They're like Sentinel, Guardian, Imperial droids. There you go. If we're gonna do that game, we'll throw on that one.
Yeah, you could do that for so many characters as well. It'd have to be like a specialty thing to specific kits. But yeah, I definitely one of the characters I think needs lots of help is definitely going to be KRENNIC. Again, guys, write your thoughts about all the characters that we're going to be talking about today. I do apologize if the video is going to be a bit longer than what I promised, but it's the first time we're doing it, so it's going to be a little bit slow. But ANDITESH, what's your next character? What are we determining will be reworkable?
Okay, I'm gonna cheat a little with my last two picks, and that is because I'm doing kind of iconic pairings. The second one is going to be Darth Nihilus lead, but also a touch up to Darth SION.
Do you want to who do you want to talk about first?
Nihilus.
Okay, I'll get his lead up.
Nihilus lead, yeah. Like weirdly enough, every now and then I'll still use it to save banners, and yes, I actually have the Zeta on it.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yes, but no, there's been some battles. I know that Traya can easily beat it. A Traya team can beat it. That her lead doesn't matter if it beats it. It's just if I want to save those extra banners and not lose the protection, I'll run Nihilus lead, and it'll work. Like some of those random, like if I'm back wall, I don't have anything else to throw. I'm like, okay, Trey, go. I'll just throw Nihilus lead against, like, say, a Jedi Bastila-led team or something that has some random Jedi. And it's like, okay, there you go.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good point for banners. That's such a good.
Yeah.
That's such a prominent thing nowadays in GAC, as we all know. Efficiency, especially in the top end of GAC, efficiency is where the money's at. That's how you win.
Yeah. But the thing is like, okay, so Darth Nihilus is the first to do this, where converting all protection into health. Then Malak followed it. Then Lord Vader completely stole it, the proper lead for Imperials.
Yep.
But, like, they didn't even come back and touch the Strength of the Void leadership. And it's sad, because I'm like, there could be so much more out of it. I'm not saying it has to be Lord Vader level, because he's a galactic legend. But Nihilus is a pretty... He could be considered an iconic for those Knights of the Old Republic 2 fans. Plus, he's a pretty powerful Sith, so his lead should kind of be lifted up just a bit, like adding like maybe the grit buff or whatever to kind of help the health-based damage effects affecting him.
Because that's huge. That's a huge weakness. Yeah.
Yeah. That plus he doesn't heal except by health steal. So getting rid of some sort of like I know it's kind of a Malgus copy, but maybe making him immune to healing immunity, not every single like shock or anything, but just healing immunity or something.
Yep.
To help prevent some of that. They could buff the defense so they're not killed as easily. Another thing is I've actually talked about other videos of another character of a rework, but she's not on this list, is Visas Mar.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, boosts her up, and then when Nihilus is in the lead, she becomes a dark side Sith, and her healing cannot be prevented by this lead kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Still, going back to it though, Sith have so many unique, fun teams that I feel like they'd be a lot more fun if they'd actually work better in current metas. And just buffing this lead could be, pretty substantial, because the Traya Omicron, that protection up is going to be, that bonus protection, whatever it is going to be very handy to help kind of, when you get debuffed, to help prevent some of those, prevent some of the damage being dealt to you, so you can survive and keep healing up while you have that bonus protection. So it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, CG, give it some love. And heck, if they want to do an Omicron slap on it, go for it. I don't care. Throw it in the TW Sith Trio
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
for THC and Nihilus lead is for TW.
yeah.
There you go.
Good point. So
So,
my thoughts on this is a lot of Nihilus's lead, just even the first sentence there, you can basically get that out of a datacron. And a lot of people don't like using datacrons, and I understand that. But so, like 60% offense, 150% health steal, you can easily achieve stats close to this and use it in your datacron. And you basically have your Nihilus lead, your first sentence of it, in your datacron. But just those couple sentences after, where they lose your protection, you gain that max health, immune to healing effects that aren't health steal, and cast all critical hits. That kind of latter section of the text there, if they were able to flip that and put it onto an Omicron, so maybe they can score the critical hits and maybe they can heal up in multiple other ways. This
yeah, there you go.
would just like make that kit a little bit better, but it still needs a little bit more. It needs something a little bit more to keep it running. So like most teams rely on being really fast, or they have a lot of turn meter gain, or they stop teams with turn meter gain. Here though, there's not really that much here that punishes or takes advantage of some sort of speed or turn meter related thing, and
Yeah.
and that's just how the meta is nowadays. You got to be fast, or you got to have a lot of turn meter. It's one of them.
That is true. Like, I know there's some characters that can be slapped in with, like Savage or Sith Marauder, that can help like gain some of that turn meter to kind of help speed boost. And then, like you said, with an Omicron, like they can add some more aspects to it to make the lead better. Like, heck, they could even be like, okay, if Trey is with the Omicron, if Trey is in the first ally slot, her lead is active in conjunction with it. Her healing abilities, and then plus those assists can go to they could do something like that. That's something I will say. I wish they'd do something to where you can activate 2 leaderships. I thought Bane was going to do this, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like the Sith, if you only have one other Sith, their Sith lead is active as well. So you go Treya Bane, or Bane Treya, go, and then you got all those assists that'll do damage to them.
Yeah.
Or Nihilus lead, and that's what I like to see, because in light side dark side light side dark side battles, as well as Cantina, you get that allies character.
Yeah.
And I've tested this a few times. I haven't done it like as a video, but I've tested a few times where, like, even contracts or even Sith leads, like you get some ally Nihilus in there.
Yeah.
And you have like Palpatine or something. You got 2 leads active during those.
Oh, really?
And it's like, yeah.
Wow. Okay, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. Like, you get the like even like if you did like Darth Vader lead, where you do an AOE Force Crush, and you actually cleanse it off with your Culling Blade, it'll come back. But if you have Nihilus lead, you'll see that your protection's now health. So
wow.
It's actually kind of cool, and I would like to see something like that implemented. Like that was, like I said, that was one thing I wish that they did with Bane, was do something like that, because it's a rule of 2. He's trying to bring up a Sith apprentice to replace him, and hit their lead, train them to be pretty much the new Sith head honcho to replace it, and continue it on. Then the rule of 2.
Yeah.
So that's where I was thinking, okay, 2 leadership Sith leads going. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, no, that's a good point with Darth Bane. I think the way they've designed his kit though is it's like before he really cared about having someone to pass his knowledge to. This is at the stage where he's just like massacring all the Sith, and it's just him left. I don't know if you guys read the books out there, but The Path of Destruction, Rule of 2, and I can't remember the third book, but that trilogy really goes in depth of what Bane's history and life is like. I suggest if you haven't read them, go read them. They're a good read. I've read them like 6 or 7 times over. They're such a good read. But like you said, having those 2 leads active, even having something to support Nihilus as a leadership, territory war is a good idea. The Sith Triumvirate is not very used. I personally, in my territory war, like being an officer in territory war, Sith, especially the Trail, that you don't use them very much for many top end teams at the moment.
Yeah, my guild sometimes bounces in Traya lead with Starkiller, which is interesting. Like, I get it with the assisting, but like, and the isolate, but that's it, really.
Yeah, so we do a similar thing where we split it with the Starkiller, and that's basically to prevent that Fulcrum Omicron from soloing Starkillers. So that's the reason we have the...
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because my guild really didn't say. They said something about troopers not countering it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's the main reason for us, is we have that isolate cripples Fulcrum and just makes it impossible for her to get... She can't get buffs then, and it's, done deal. So, did you want to talk about Scion? Might as well, you did just mention it. Might as well just head over to Scion.
None of these two are on your list, right?
Pardon?
None of these two are on your list, right?
No.
Okay.
I
like steal your thunder on
No. You're right. We'll have a look at Scion. Yeah.
Yeah. Scion, it's just he needs some sort of like slight touch up to make him slightly better than where he's at, make him a little more bulkier or something, because I don't know, like I feel like in my Sith Triumvirate team, anytime I face some sort of team in GSC, TW, territory battles, whatever, he's usually the first one to die, and he has that revive mechanic.
Yeah,
which
he's the tank.
This is another thing. Like another thing I hate. Like I'm not a fan of Inquisitors, but not like some other content creators. But like I am not a fan that Reva stole his Held by Hatred and made it better for her than he did. And it's like he was the prime. Like honestly, if you were talking about a Sith that does not die easily, this is Scion. He does not die easily. You cut him up, he'll pull his body back together.
Yeah.
That's why he looks all scarred.
Yeah.
And he can't have Held by Hatred at the start of the encounter. He can't... Like, I know maybe for back then balancing purposes, but nowadays, I feel like he should start with the encounter with Held by Hatred, and his first Held by Hatred revive can't be prevented. That's... Yeah.
Again, great point, and I guess we're on the topic of Sith Triumvirate at the moment. Scion is the first one I kick out to put Savage in.
In 3v3, that's what I do. But like in 5v5, I'm rocking them both because, you know, double tank options, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Keeps the others protected. But, yeah, Sion's he's I don't know, he's one of my favorite tanks from back in the day, and he's just been great for so long, but he's starting to fall off. A lot of things is like he does his taunts based on if they have pain or not. I feel like they need to allow him to inflict more pain in some form or fashion. Yeah, like maybe he could still be resisted by tenacity, but can't be resisted by tenacity up. Something that you don't see often.
I remember Scion being one of those characters back then that was so powerful, and as you said, but as you said, as the meta's changed, like power creep is such a big thing in this game. But he's definitely 100%. He's fallen off, definitely the meta list. But I will say one thing is when they did release Traya Omicron, you were able to get, if they hit Scion enough and he got his turn, he was able to get that Held by Hatred really quickly. And sometimes that would be a game changer, but not in all circumstances. I just think, like you said, he doesn't taunt enough because most teams nowadays have a way to ignore the taunts. And if Sion's not taunting, he's not taking the hits for the team.
Or they're always suggested to be built with high tenacity, and you would have to build him with high potency, but you reduce his health or defense, or, you know, he's kind of I feel like a defensive stat-hungry character with the potency. That's why he's pretty solid under both Palpatine and Traya leads as well as Sith Eternal leads with the potency side, because he's getting potency boosts so he can inflict those pains.
Yeah.
But outside of that, he's not going to inflict as much pain under like Darth Maul lead or Vader lead or anyone else.
That's exactly right. He's just one of those characters, he's just an old character that he needs something to keep him up with the times. Like he's got 4 abilities and just 1 unique. So maybe they added unique, or they add a Omicron or something. But he's just one of those characters that he hasn't aged well with the times. He's slowly being replaced by more and more Sith again. But like I think even at Relic 9.
Like I know there was a strategy with Nihilus lead with Malgus when Malgus first came out, just to get that health boost.
Yeah.
And obviously, Sion was kicked to the curb.
Yeah.
If you'd rather have Malik and Malgus in there than Sion.
No, yeah. Sion just doesn't bring enough to the table to be required on a Sith team, I think. Like I said before, he's like usually the first one I kick to the curb when I need to put a powerful Sith in his place. Everyone would agree with me that Savage, Omicron, especially in GAC, I would rather have that in my Sith Triumvirate team than a Scion, but...
Yeah. Unfortunately, even though there's all that synergy you lose. But then again, there's some teams out there that synergy, they don't care. Like, when do you see C-3PO and R2-D2 on either a CLS team or a Leia team now?
Yeah.
You don't.
Exactly right.
Yeah, or even like CHIRRUT and BAZE, they keep getting pulled out of their respective teams.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. I just don't like the fact that we split up the Sith Triumvirate. Like that's the team, the 3, 1, 2, and 3. Nihilus, Traya, Sion, and that's the way it should be. But again, that's just the way the game is, and not everyone goes with their assigned team, or they get kicked to the curb because there's just more powerful characters out there. But yeah, he needs a bit of work. That's 100% right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you have any more thoughts on Sion at all, or
the last thing is I feel like as a member of the Sith Triumvirate, he does deserve a lead.
Yep.
Because I forget. Did you say you did or didn't play KOTOR 2?
I have not. No, not a true Star Wars fan. I haven't played.
Too many spoilers, but let's put it this way: when you first encounter him, and backlogs and stuff like that, you encounter him, but you don't encounter his assassins that are his other warriors that are with him, or his underlings or whatever, because they're all in stealth camo. That's something they could do something similar to MAUL, but not, where Sion is sitting out in the open as a lead, and then any other Sith ally is under stealth.
Yeah.
They could do something unique to that prospect. Aside from that, I don't know how they would pull it off to make it less or more broken than Darth Maul or any other Sith ally or Sith character out there, but it would be kind of unique to see, okay, Darth Sion's out there, and maybe stealth characters can't be feared, so it kind of helps counter the Sith Empire teams.
Yep.
I don't know. That would be something to throw out there. But that's my last little thing about Sion.
Yeah.
Aside from rework Sion CG.
yeah. I'd like to see even like an undispellable taunt. That's becoming a big thing nowadays. I think that would be kind of cool.
Like when he's held by hatred and the first time all enemies gain pain, he gains taunt that's undispellable for 4 turns or something.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting. There you go.
Yeah. Or even, I think, is it Mark takes priority over taunt?
He would. Mark would take priority, and it's a debuff.
Yeah.
So they can't try to clean off even. But then again, if it's a locked buff, that usually can't be resisted.
True.
That's why you can isolate Jedi Master Luke and get around his taunt for a bit, but once you hit a certain Jedi under a certain number of HP or protection or whatever,
Yeah.
he'll gain the locked taunt.
Yeah, and you have to target him anyway. So I think, either way, a taunt or a locked mark. It'd have to be a locked mark, because otherwise, if he's under trail lead, it'd just be cleansed away.
Yeah, it'll cleanse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of work you can do with Sion to get him upgraded. And just a little thing as well. I think Sion was one of my favorite characters back in the day because he held his lightsaber back to front. I think that was like the coolest thing.
I think I think they did it based on, I believe, comics, but also there is a Scion skin in, I think, either 1 or 2 of Force Unleashed. So they kind of link that to, but it makes sense. He could do some weird unorthodox lightsaber fighting style because, he's going to take the hit on purpose and cut you up whatever way he wants.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of videos and stuff out talking about reverse grip does not work and all this and that, which makes sense if you actually kind of see how it would work.
Yeah.
But for him, reverse grip would be whatever.
Yeah.
He can carry it however he wants. He can carry it in his teeth and cut you up,
probably. Of course, yeah. I reckon he's an animal. He's an animal.
Yeah. All right, what's your next one?
All right. Well, do you have any more, or is that your last one?
Oh no, that was my 2 paired into one. Like I said, my 2 and 3 were together.
Oh yeah, you've got one more though. You got one more. Yeah.
One more pairing. Yeah.
One
more pairing.
All right. Well, this is my last one, and then we'll talk about yours. So my last one is Tarkin, Grand Moff Tarkin.
I don't like him. Skip. No, I'm skipping. Go ahead.
So hopefully this is not one of the last ones you've been talking about, but
no.
I think this guy, good old CGI Star Wars. I think Grand Moff Tarkin is one of those characters that is such I would say a pillar to the Empire, but he's not so much a pillar to the Empire in the game. I remember him back in the day used to be really good, and probably not too long ago, probably about 6 to 8 months ago, where we had that Datacron where he had the infinite cooldowns, and he just spammed his intimidation tactics, and then he just dumped a massive ultimate firepower and killed the entire team. There's definitely a few mechanics you can make him work with, like that Datacron before, where he just recycled his cooldowns to stack all that potency with Piet's Emperor's Trap and able to send down a nuke. But that's such a niche thing, and it doesn't exist anymore, so he's back in the dumpster, so to speak. But he's one of those characters that I would give an Imperial Trooper tag 1. And also, just to talk about briefly, his leadership is just, again, it's one of those leaderships that are so old that it doesn't mean a lot nowadays.
Aside from this, there's the speed boost. I know there's some strategies of throwing Darth Vader under him to kind of get that extra speed to counter something. Especially if you went him, Darth Vader, and Watt, just to get that speed boost if you have a slower Vader because you're working mods.
Yep.
Aside from that, it's kind of meh, to be honest. There's not, because normally a lot of characters that do get a speed boost to their faction, they do some more decent, unique stuff, and then you'll see some leads.
Yep.
You'll Shock T, you'll see Shock T pop in and out leading either Bad Batch or the 501st Clones if you're using her as lead, and she's still more useful than Tarkin's lead right now.
He's just one of those characters that just doesn't have anything that can keep him going. The biggest thing around his kit is just having lots of potency and dropping a big hit with his first special there. But
Go ahead.
I just think he's been in pretty much every animated series. He was in Bad Batch season 3, as we just seen. He's like the superior officer. He's the one that everyone goes to about their problems, or he comes to talk about your problems. But I just feel like he's Yeah, he'll knock on your door, Anditesh.
He gets problemed officers executed.
Yeah.
Like in Rebel.
Yeah. He's just...
You don't want to mess with him.
No.
Yeah, like honestly, that's why like messing with him or anything like that, you don't do very well. He's kind of like Admiral Thrawn, where he's very cunning, very on the top end, and hard to deal with. That's why I feel like with Tarkin, I feel like he should have like a can't be countered aspect added to him. So all of his abilities can't be countered.
He needs a lot of work.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I do agree. He does need a lot of love to make his just make his team and his kit shine over others.
I think it's similar in the case of KRENNIC, like you were talking about before. Having that Imperial officer tag, he would definitely be a part of that lineup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Because like even like if you actually look at it though, we've mentioned 3 characters so far. Earlier when I was talking about the officer tags, they're all capital ship owners: Tarkin, Thrawn, and Piet. But Admiral Piet is a trooper, while the other 2 are not, and they can also be officers. It's like, but then again, I don't think they want to add too many more tags, because if you notice, Jabba the Hutt is actually missing the scoundrel tag, and I think it's because of the amount of space that's on the game that allows for tags.
Yeah. Scoundrels are one of the biggest factions.
Some game limitation too with some of these, because like some of these tags are like super large, like Fleet Commander. But still, going back to it, it would be nice to see some more love to Tarkin as well, because like I know they did a rework to him a while back, like 4 or 5 whatever years ago. And I remember hearing people, or I think that someone in the post was saying, yeah, they were having, the people that were testing them in the studio was having fun with them. I'm like, as soon as we get them, flat, I felt like. And it's like, what were they testing them with? 1,000% potency or something?
Yeah, they had datacrons back then.
Probably is what it was. I mean, that's why they decided to bring them back or bring them in. Let's make money off of this now. 1,000% potency in offense. There you go. I don't know. It baffles me. Aside from that Datacron, I think there was I could be wrong, but there was also a time in TW. He also had a chance to shine. If it wasn't him, I know Dooku was or Mace was, but you know, there was a plethora of characters they tested in TW to get some slight temporary buffs.
Yes. Yep.
And so I don't know. I feel like he, like you said, he is one of the big bads of the Empire. Like if you think of top 3 Imperial villains, Palpatine, Vader, and Tarkin. And if you were to go into 4th, that would be Thrawn. Of course. Of course, Thrawn would be my favorite overall. If you keep those other 3 out, Thrawn, the Empire would have survived. But that's my, Star Wars lore of opinion on that. But
100%. I think the Empire faction, especially with a lot of their trying to get their Imperial troopers sorted out, I think that tag especially needs a lot of work, where we have so many Imperials that should be Imperial troopers but just aren't. And I think that would, or even just the Imperial Remnant tag, like, I would consider Thrawn an Imperial Remnant, would you not?
Oh yeah. I would actually consider Shore Trooper an Imperial Remnant. Because if you remember, the Mando and his team and Boba and all them went to a base that had Shore Troopers on it. And so Shore Trooper TIE Pilot should be both an Imperial Trooper and a Remnant. Because there were TIE Pilots flying TIE Fighters.
There's a lot of work they can do.
Oh yeah, definitely. So.
Oh, man. Alright, well, that's my 2 cents. That's all my characters I wanted to talk about today, which was Darth Maul, so the same as you. I talked about Director Krennic and Grand Moff Tarkin. You had one last pair you wanted to talk about, Anditesh?
Yeah, one last pair. I decided I decided to do a light side pair. I know there's a good chunk of other light side characters I could suggest, but I decided to do these pair being CHIRRUT and BAZE.
Yep. Rogue One. Let me get them up here. Who do you want to talk about first?
Honestly, I was just going to talk about them as a pair in general, so you
Yeah.
can just bounce between their kits.
Sure.
One of the things is CHIRRUT and BAZE, when they first came out, they were like really top meta. They were like Arnold, and back when Mobile Gamer was around, and I think it was Warrior or whatever, all they spoke about was CHIRRUT and BAZE and 3 others and go.
Yeah.
And that was your team.
That's
That's great, but they've kind of fallen on the wayside. Like, they actually have Zeta or Omega, Zeta or Omicron options available, because both their uniques are at max level 7. So they could probably see some sort of love. I know we just got recently, I think the Datacron left. Well, yeah, it was a Datacron that
just turned to Ash, yep.
Yep, it just turned to Ash at the time of recording. Well, within the day of the time of recording.
Yeah.
And so he had a pretty kick-butt one. I wouldn't say make that a Omicron completely, but something on that level.
Yeah.
But yeah, CHIRRUT and BAZE getting an Omicron, one for GSE, one for TW, and then you give them a Zeta each, and they would be set. Like,
yeah.
These two were like, I feel like they were, for light side, they were my a favorite team. Like, I built them up to gear 12. But when they started to fall off, gear 12. That's all they stayed at until I recently took them to Relic.
Yeah. I don't even have them. Yeah.
I'm sure they will, but I hope they don't have any Rogue One packs anytime soon, because then I'll be like, well, great. Could have saved them.
Thanks, CG.
But I was thinking of building up the Saw Gerrera team with them, but I still have Gear 12 Saw, so I'm like, whatever. But these two are pretty, they're pretty solid. Like, they complement each other. CHIRRUT, even though I felt like it was more of a healer than attacker, even though he does do some decent damage, cleanses, healing, equalizes, dispels. It's actually, pretty solid.
Yeah,
and
I would almost say he's a support.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, these two definitely deserve to get a little bit more of a oomph. But I don't know what direction they would go, to be honest. They can give more stats, of course, but maybe some turn meter gain. I don't know.
Yeah, well...
But then they would probably break the either Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, or Radis teams.
Yeah, they got to ride a fine line with them. So BAZE is one of those characters that is still kind of relevant because he's a tank. And he does gain a lot of passive turn meter, and especially in a layer team, he's one of those characters that suit really well with that team.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He does gain turn meter, but CHIRRUT doesn't really, I don't think. But
no.
Because BAZE, they gave him a lot of turn meter because they made him so slow.
Yeah. He's one of those annoying characters like Old Ben where they gain that passive turn meter. I can't remember if it's his for Jedi unique, I think. Yeah. 5% turn meter whenever an enemy gains a buff. And like you could just imagine like in an Imperial Trooper team, this guy would be rocking so much turn meter.
Oh yeah, because they gain the Imperial Trap and all that.
Yeah. Like he'd be taking a turn every 2 turns of a trooper. So,
2 to 3,
like you said, this pair was, especially when Rogue One came out. Like CHIRRUT was one of my favorite characters. He sacrificed himself. Even like how Fives has got his sacrifice ability. I'd love if there was something similar to something with CHIRRUT there, but for lore anyway. But it's kind of hard to say what they really need for their kits. Like obviously chucking a whole lot of offense on them, like this Datacron set has just been, works a treat, but it's not a forever thing.
Okay. One thing I could see them do with these two, there's a couple of things, but like, first, I can say I could see them add because these would be the first 2 non-GLs to do this, have them immune to health-based damage effects. Aside from, like I said, the GLs, they don't have any lightsiders that do that. It's always the darksiders. All the obviously GL is one of them, but all the Kylos, Malgus, Malik.
Yeah.
I don't remember who else, but yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, it'd be cool to see them get that. 2, I could see CHIRRUT getting immunity to blind.
Yep.
Or his moves can't be hit. Or I mean, evaded.
Evaded.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good idea. 100%. It's similar to most old kits where they don't have a leadership, any of them, but for these type of characters, they really need an engine to make the team go, or they need a leadership to kind of make up for their losses. But in old kits like this, they don't have like any speed gains. They don't have any turn meter gains, except BAZE passively. But the combo needs, like most teams, they need something to make sure they actually get turns, because this is a team where if you see CHIRRUT and BAZE, well, even just CHIRRUT with, I don't know, some, like when Jin lead was a thing back in the day, before Raditz came out. If you saw that on defense, you just trooper it and it'd be dead within the first 30 seconds. And that's just because they don't have any sort of interruption for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
I
will say though, out of the two, I can see CHIRRUT getting a lead, but I can also see them giving him a lead that would only work with him and BAZE. That's it. So have like a 2-man team to counter some teams.
Yeah,
that would be kind of interesting.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Because if you like watch them, like they work together really well. Like when CHIRRUT was first introduced, he's sitting there whacking down guys, and then BAZE comes in and mows down others, and it's like
it's a massacre. It's a massacre.
Yeah. Granted, I will say there's one ability I would like them to tack on CHIRRUT, and that's his little weird thing that he shot, like big crossbow thing or whatever that he shot down the TIE fighter with. Why does he not have that?
I'm surprised it's not on his back, honestly. I'm surprised it's not on his back.
Yeah, that would be cool to see that added. See, it's like
they have so much potential.
Maybe that could be a part of the lead, like, you know, it'd be the CHIRRUT BAZE lead. They could be like the duo team of like kind of like a Wampa or something where they can beat some teams.
Yeah.
Two some teams out there. So, and then one last thing I will say with these two and Bodhi Rook, I could see all three of them getting the shuttle that they land on. Or
the cargo Imperial shuttle.
Yeah, the Zeta one or whatever it's called. Yeah, the Zeta shuttle, or that shuttle there, and have, you know, obviously, what's his name, be pilot it. That would give Bodhi some love. Granted, he needs love too, but like give him some love. But it would also give another Rebel ship to kind of help out. Like maybe that takes the place of the Y-wing on the Profundity fleet, and then the Y-wing could go hang out with, or the Millennium Falcon or something, just so the Home One has a better fleet for them. So
I think it even make that would be good. That would be good. But
what were you about to say?
I was gonna say, like, there could be definitely kit designs for that shuttle. Like it could even work between, because you want ships to be able to work with multiples. So like I would make it so that ship would work with Home One as well, not having like that. I hate when they do exclusive to one team kind of thing, and especially with ships where it's so tight that you got to use them with specific things. Like I remember, like Bosk is such a good tank for all the fleets. You can use him pretty much anywhere. He's not tied to Executor, especially in the early game. Bosk is such a massive help to many of those characters. Yeah,
and just unfortunately, they want to tie certain characters and certain ships to certain fleets or teams, and I get it, but at the same time, let us play around.
Yeah, it's money. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Well, I think
that's the end of my list.
That's the end of both of our lists. So we talked about Darth Maul. We both talked about Darth Maul for a bit there. Director KRENNIC I talked about, and Grand Moff Tarkin we talked about. I think what were the characters again you talked about, ANDITESH?
So obviously MAUL, but then I went Gar Saxon lead. Then I talked about SION or NIHILUS lead with SION being touched up, and then of course CHIRRUT and BAZE.
Yeah. And that's our list today, guys. So if you had any sort of extra other contributions to our pointers and what we suggest CG do to help these characters out, please drop them in the comments, guys. I do apologize for the time, but yeah, there's a lot to talk about it, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to be doing this hopefully every once a month. This is not finished though. We do have a second part that will be over on ANDITESH's channel here. So as soon as he gets that video, once we record it, and I'll link it in the description, and we can get that out to you guys straight away. But guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and do the same to ANDITESH's channel. We both very much appreciate the support you give us.
Oh yeah, I do appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Yeah, cool guys. Well, we'll end it there for part 1, and we will see you over on ANDITESH's channel for part 2. So we'll see you over there, guys. Thank you.